Let me know when you see my screen.
I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the this is actually the back end of the K Wilcox website.
Right.
What I want to do is I want to get to the front end, and I'm gonna exit here. So there are a couple of different places to log in to the website. One is this address, which is just the website address with wp-login.php appended to it, or you can also use wp-admin. Either one will work, and that'll take you to the login page. If we take all that stuff away, you can see that we get the front end of the website.
Right.
So we just add. I usually go to wp-admin. Not that it's really the same thing. And so now I have a password saver, password manager that I use, so it automatically populates. I mean, you can also do this with sometimes browsers you use will say, hey, do you want us to save your password? But this, in WordPress world, you can log in, it says here, with a username or an email address. The username and email address pair are not separable. Meaning there is only one username associated with one email address. We can have as many users as we want, but this one that looks pretty funny is linked to my email address. So now I'll tell you, the reason why I use crazy usernames like this is a security precaution, because people are always trying to log into this website. Not just yours, but into every single website that's out there. WordPress accounts for about 30 to 35% of the websites in the world. It's a very popular target for attack, just like Microsoft Windows is, because it's so popular and used by so many people. So anyway, we'll get you set up with an email, a username, and you can change your password, set your password, but you'll be able to log in as yourself. And it's a good idea to actually do that, because then you kind of know who is making what kinds of changes to the website and stuff, rather than have a shared username password for everybody.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and click login. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to hit log out again. Sorry. There was something else I wanted to show you. Down here, if you come to this page, right, the login page, and you've forgotten your password, you can just click on lost your password, enter your email address or your username, and it'll prompt you to change the password.
Okay.
So, and peeling back the layers of the onion that make up a website, even if you lost your password, lost your username, whatever, we are always going to be able to get you in and find it or change it. So it's not going to be a problem, because while this interface here, the back end of the WordPress website, is one way to get in, we can also get in through hosting if we have to. So you can never do anything that is so bad on this website that we can't recover from it.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, especially with the backups. So when you log in, so I just wanted to show you real quickly. This is the dashboard screen that you.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Okay, so you can see these are all these people trying to bang into the website already.
Oh, cool.
A bunch from Russia. This is kind of recently, in the past week. Top 5 failed logins. So I mean, you don't have to peruse that stuff really, but it just is evidence of the fact, yeah, they're bad and they're always trying to get in.
That's crazy.
So there are a couple of ways. I'm going to come up here to K Wilcox Landscaping. I'm going to right click on Visit Site. I tend to like to have open up in a new window or a new tab the front facing part of the website. Just as I'm looking at the back end, I've got the front end open and I can kind of see what I'm doing, or visit a page if I need to. Now you'll see what we're seeing up here at the top of the website, because we're logged in and because of our user role, we have this menu screen or menu layer, I guess, up here that you would not see if you were not logged in.
Yeah.
But because we are logged in, we get to see this fun stuff and do different things with it. We can have, let's just see who the users are. So I think we've got, oh, okay, you actually have a user. We set you up already.
Yeah.
I don't know if you still have this information here, but
yeah, I have it on a spreadsheet that you sent me a while back. Yeah.
Great. So now your role right now is set up as editor, and So what that means is you cannot access some of these things over here that require administrative access. Like as an editor, you could not put it on a new piece of software. This is your website, however, so you can have any role you want. We can certainly make you an administrator, or we could reduce your role if you wanted that to happen. But anything you like, because it is yours. For most editing purposes of content, you don't need to be an administrator. However, for some you do. Like if we wanted to change this menu, you actually need to be an administrator for that. You can't do that as an editor.
All right.
But for changing these projects and stuff that we were talking about, we'll go to the projects page. You could be an editor and add those in.
Okay.
So Erica, I'm trying to remember how we did this with the projects. I guess we're going to see in just a moment. Are you remembering offhand how we set those up?
I think there is a section when you go back to the dashboard that has
the projects, right?
Projects.
Is that how we set up? Yeah, we can see. So if we kind of hover over the images here, Dave,
Yeah.
we can see in the bottom left-hand corner, it tells us the URL that's about to open.
Oh, I see.
So,
Yep.
So there's a separate kind of subfolder there of sorts called project. So these are well, at least these links anyway are categorized at first as project. If we click on one, let's see if the URL is project. Yeah, okay. So these are all projects. Sometimes the reason why I was kind of hemming and hawing about that is sometimes I've set this up so that even though the link is to project, it might forward us to something else if it made more sense to set up this page as something else. But these are set up as projects, so we'll look at the project so you can see how to do that. In WordPress world, and by the way, I know that I am talking a little bit fast here, and I'm sorry about that.
That's right.
A little bit of ground to cover.
Sure.
But so in WordPress world, there are two basic kinds of content, which are pages and posts. Truthfully, they are, or structurally, they are really all posts, and pages are just what is a particular kind of customized post.
Mm-hmm.
And projects are actually a built-in customized post in this theme called Divi. And so it's useful for things like this, for projects. So if for a company that has projects that they want to showcase, and so if we wanted to add a new project, first what we might do is come into projects here and just take a look at all the projects that exist first. And here we can see these are the different projects we have.
Okay.
And then these are the project categories. And we might think, oh, what do we do with project categories? I'm trying to remember here. So if we come back here, and we'll go back to projects, I think we have some listed out. Yeah, right across here. This is where those categories are. So if we click on commercial, that's going to be only the ones that are categorized as commercial. Click on residential, those will be the ones that are categorized as residential. We could have additional categories here if we wanted. All is obviously sort of a catch-all. An individual project can actually be categorized as multiple categories. So I don't know if that would make sense for your business, but from a website design perspective, you could have a project that is categorized as both commercial and residential.
Okay.
So this is sort of a, we can see here with the URL here, this was a page that was created to just summarize the projects here. This is not actually a project page. Each one of these individual ones is a project page. You don't have to do anything to this page to have a new project be added here. If you were to add a new project, it will automatically show up on this page. That's one of the beauties of these types of kind of summary pages. But let's take a look at a project. So we're going to look at the Kent one, which is categorized as residential. So the way these are set up right now is we have a number of images associated with the project. And we've given this indication to people just so they can figure out what to do, because not everybody figures out always what to do when they get to a website, that if you click on it, you can view the photos. Now, you just saw these actually are scrolling along on their own, so you don't actually have to click on the image to view the photos. If you click on it, it's going to open them up in a light box, and then you can scroll through manually by clicking on them. And then to get out of the light box, you just click on the X over here.
Yeah.
But you can also do nothing, and you will view them nevertheless because of the way this is set up, the way this slider is set up, or gallery is set up. I think it's a slider type style. So now you'll see that the page is kind of bouncing around a little bit because the image dimensions are different.
Sure.
It's advisable, if you can do it, to have images that are a consistent dimension, because then you will not get this. I mean, I don't think this is fatal by any stretch to this project, because these are nice pictures, and people understand that sometimes pictures come in different dimensions. But from a design perspective, I think it does look a little bit better, a little cleaner, if they are all the same size.
Okay.
So actually, let's spend a moment just talking about photographs, even though that really doesn't have to do with actually editing a project here. So, you'll go out there with a camera or with your phone or whatever and take pictures. It's always best, to the extent that you can, to do photo editing before you get to the website. WordPress does allow you to edit photographs on the website, but the interface is a little bit clunky and a little bit just doesn't offer you all the choices that you might get with a piece of software, piece of photo editing software. Do you happen to have any photo editing software?
Yeah, I have Photoshop.
You have Photoshop. Oh, perfect. Yeah, well, that's like the gold standard. So yeah, so what you would want to do is create pictures that are the same size. Kind of a way that I typically do that is I will create one Photoshop PSD file, and maybe you've done this too, so forgive me if I'm preaching to the converted, but and then just bring the different photographs in as layers, and then, because then the one PSD file has a singular dimension, and then you can just kind of fit those layers in, by reshaping or resizing the photographs or the different layers. And then what you want to do is you want to export that as in Photoshop. It's, gosh, what is that, Erica? Export as
I think I
for web or something.
Yeah, I think I use the option that's save for web, and then it usually will choose to save it as like a JPEG.
Yeah, exactly.
File.
That's it. And you can set sort of the quality of the image. And the reason why that's important is that we want more or less relatively smaller photos. You can still retain a good amount of image resolution, but even like a 72 DPI image that's brought down, from whatever, probably when you take the photo, it's going to be like 300 DPI. It's going to be like, 5 meg pixels wide, by another 4 deep. That's enormous, way too big for a website.
Okay.
So you really want to reduce the size of it.
So 72 is appropriate?
Well, actually, when that save for web function that Erica was just talking about, automatically, I think, set the DPI. I think, I could be wrong about that, but it'll offer you the option of changing those settings. I would tend to never go higher than 96, but usually you can get away with 72, 80 maybe. And then in terms of how big you want it to be, honestly, you're looking at a screen right now that's not a huge desktop screen by any stretch, but 1200, 1600 pixels wide, maybe. I wouldn't go bigger than that. You don't really need to. Maybe 16 is fine. The website is a responsive website, so it'll automatically resize stuff so it fits on a phone or on a tablet. But once you start getting bigger than 1600, the image size tends to get pretty big.
Okay.
So you've done all the photo editing, and then what probably makes sense to do at that point is import the photos into the website, and you're going to do that through the media library.
All right.
So you would have, probably you want to save, like, just to keep it straight in your mind, say, have a little folder on your computer that is the pictures for that project that you want to upload to the website.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come into media library and you would add new, and you just select the files, or if you have it in, like, open in another window, you can just drag them to right here.
Okay.
And they will start automatically coming into the media library. Now there is, if you're uploading a lot of photographs, it may take a little bit of time. There's a plugin we have on the site called Smush, which further optimizes the images and tries to reduce their footprint. So that just takes a little bit of time, but it should be relatively fast. You shouldn't, if you're uploading like 100 images, it's going to take a little bit more time. If it's 5 to 10 images, it's not going to be a big deal.
Okay.
So yeah, so you can either just select files or drag and drop. And now I will say, if we come in here and we look at some of the images that are here already, it's a good idea as the images come in to add alt text to them. I'm generally not as concerned about that for gallery images as for other images that might be on a web page, but the alt text helps to identify what the image is. And you might you probably don't want any more than like 3 to 5 words here. And this, by the way, when you upload an image to the library, this screen right here is going to appear, and it'll prompt you to add that information. So you could say brown house in Kent, for instance. That would be a perfectly fine alternative text. And what that does is it helps search engines to know what content is on the website, and it also provides information to people who might be viewing the website with images not being shown, or who themselves may their vision may be compromised, and so they may be relying on some sort of software to tell them what's on a web page. So that's all good information to have. And that automatically saves. So we're going to go back, though, to the projects. If we wanted to edit a project, let's say you wanted to add a new image to this. So what we would do is come in here to edit project. See up at the top, this gives us this option. The other way actually is to come in, there are 2 ways to get there, is to come in via projects. Oops, that's the Hopkins Hill site, hold on. Stay on K Wilcox. Come into projects here, go to all, and we can edit it by choosing it here too. So either way works.
All right.
I'm going to take this in place.
And I just noticed that you can, there's a button to add a project. So if I've got a new one, you can
do it right there.
Right there. All right.
Or if you're on the page, you can also click new here and add post media page project.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we wanted to edit this one, we just click on edit. And now that takes us to, and just so you know, there are going to be 2 ways to edit this. I'm going to show you the back end way first. So we have text here. And if you think of, this is often where I will come to preview changes, and I'll click on that to open up the page or post or project in a window so that I can see what it would look like as I'm looking at it here. So this is, I should take a step back and talk about the Divi Builder. So this is not common to WordPress. This is part of Divi, this purple, green, and blue thing.
All right.
And so this is like this is the design platform that sits on top of WordPress. It takes a little bit of getting used to, no denial there, but once you kind of get used to it, it really feels, I think, pretty intuitive. And
Okay.
it just allows you to do so much. So the Divi Builder for any page or post, or again, a project is just a customized post where it's being used, has the following elements. First of all, it's basically got the whole page right here. That's the purple. The blue is a section. The green is a row. And then the gray is a module. And so we can see that the way this is built, there's only a single section, a single row, and the various modules within that single row. Now, we can see here, if we wanted to, we can add additional sections. There are standard ones, or there are full width ones, or specialty ones. You can even save sections, modules, rows, pages to the library and add one from the library. It's actually a pretty convenient way to save templates to use the library. But each item here allows us to do different functions. So
Right.
this hamburger menu is always the menu, the settings for that individual item. So if you click on the hamburger menu, you're going to get the settings. This, I don't know if you can read that, it might be too small, but it says clone section. So this would allow you to copy it, right? And you just click on it and boom, it appears miraculously.
All right.
And this X will delete it.
Okay.
So let's say we say, okay, let's delete it. And then you say, oh my God, wait a minute. Is that gone? What have I done to the website? Hello. It's okay, because all we got to do is hit reload here. We're going to reload because we're not going to save anything. And what we had there before is going to appear. And there it is, it's back. So don't freak out if you accidentally hit something. But what I would tend to do is, as I go along here, is if I make a change and I like it, then I'm going to hit update. But remember that once a project is already published, if you click on update, then that is going to be live on the website immediately.
Okay.
If instead we were going into projects and we're going to add new, I'm going to right click on this, so it's going to open up in a new tab.
Before you go on, your voice is really warbly and scratchy. I don't know if that's on my end or your end.
Yeah, I can sense that.
Is my voice weird as well?
It was, and now it's better. Is mine any better now?
It was towards the end of that sentence.
Yeah, then I wonder if there's like a little internet glitch.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, now you're fine.
Okay. So if we were to add a new project, I just remember I came over here and I right clicked on add new. This doesn't say update, it says publish. So any changes I make, I can click on save draft.
Okay.
And they're not going to be live until I click on publish. But once I click on publish, and this is a WordPress thing, not a Divi thing, but once I click on publish, that means it's live on the site somewhere.
All right.
So I'm going to go back to editing. So you can see here, so there's text, there's this thing that looks a little bit grayed out, which you can see, and then there's gallery. So we've got 3 modules here. So I'll go back to the page to try to figure that out. What are the 3 modules? Let's see. There's text. That looks like text. This is probably the gallery. Well, what's that middle thing that's grayed out? Well, if you right click in here, this is I would say a vestige from how we were developing the site previously. I'm going to right click on the menu, and it looks like it's been disabled. So I can enable this if I wanted to. Right now those are red, that's showing that it's disabled. So what that's telling me is that we're not showing this on smartphones, on tablets, or on desktop. We're not using this module at all. So we can actually safely get rid of that.
All right.
And if you don't believe me that that was safe, we'll go ahead and we'll hit preview again. And we'll take a look, and it looks exactly the same.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to go ahead and update that because we don't need that slider. That if it's disabled, it's still there from a code perspective. So it's just a slightly cleaner page by getting rid of that. And so, I mean, maybe it would be a microsecond or two of loading faster, and that's always a good thing. So,
Right.
So we got rid of that. So we have a gallery. That's where the images are. Oh, and just I wanted to show you before changing any of these, if I wanted to add a new module here, I just click on Insert Module. And these are all the dozens of modules that we could do. So the one that we've done here is somewhere there's gallery, I think. Isn't there a gallery one? Gallery, there it is. That's the one we're using right now. But we could use all sorts of other ones if we wanted to. I just wanted you to see those. I don't think we don't use a ton of them on the site, but these are all available.
All right. So as an example, on the page it says click for a larger view on the text there. So if I want to have that, but above that I want to say, this project was a landscape renovation in Narragansett, Rhode Island, so on and so forth. Would I add another text box right there? Or go into the text box and edit it there?
Well, so what I would do in that situation is I would go back to the page.
Yep.
So we're previewing the page, and I would say, where does it make the most sense to put that text? And I think my sense is that it probably would go in between Kent and click on
right.
the view.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because remember, this website is for viewers, right? We want to make it as easy as possible for them to get to the information that we want to convey to them. And so, yeah, I would come in here. So we know that this text already exists. So what we might do is just click on that to edit it. And we can see the edit here. And then we
okay. All right.
This is just a standard WordPress. You've probably seen this if you've worked on WordPress before. So this is just adding a text, text information.
Okay.
And so if we come in here and we say, do, we can actually click here and get a look at it, see what it looks like.
Okay.
Before we don't even have to go all the way to preview if we don't want to. So we can also X out of that. And let's say we like that. We'll click on Save and Exit. Now, that doesn't mean it's on the website yet because I have not hit this update button.
Got it.
But if I hit preview, we're going to see the changes. It is going to show up. And this is what it would look like. Okay. But it's not saved yet. Even though I know I hit save there before, because I didn't hit update, it did not go live on the website.
Got it.
So I'll come back and say, okay, that was just pretend. Don't need that there yet. We'll go back to that, and that's fine. Equally, what we could have done was hit reload here or refresh and not saved, and that would have been that. So now if we click on preview changes, go back, that stuff's going to disappear.
All right.
So with the gallery, we can update the gallery and add images to it. Just as simple as that. You just update gallery, and we can either we could X out any of these images to get rid of them if we wanted to, or we could add to the gallery by clicking on this button over here. We can have them appear in a random order if we want to. When we're done editing the gallery, we would just click on Update Gallery.
Okay, that's pretty intuitive and easy enough there, it seems.
I think so. I hope so. I mean, there are honestly, and I'm sure Erica will tell you, there's so many scores of design options that you could choose. We try to avoid like bells and whistles that are unnecessary, that are just going to distract people. But there are other options that, you can do for different types of, to capture a particular type of mood or emotion. This one is more of a, these are the facts, ma'am. Here's some really nice pictures of these projects we worked on.
Right, right.
So I believe we did an update before. We didn't really change them before. Now, let's say that you wanted to add a new project and you wanted it to be kind of like the Kent one. This is where we have a fun little thing here. So I'm going to go back to all projects. Aha, it prompts me. It says, hey, wait a minute. You made some changes here. Do you really want to leave without saving those? And if you remember, those changes were just adding that gobbledygook in and then getting rid of it.
Right.
So yes, I'm okay with leaving. And if you don't believe that worked the way it's supposed to, we'll just hit refresh here on the preview. It still looks the same.
All right.
Ooh, gosh, what I thought was going to be there is not there. Hold on a minute. So I got to go to plugins. This is the one. I want this to be activated. Duplicate post. And you'll see why in 1 second. I'm going to come back here. So I just want you to pay attention here to what I'm going to show you, where it says Kent edit, quick edit, trash, view. Okay, that's where we were before I added this plugin. I'm going to hit refresh because I just added that plugin. And I'm going to show you this new option here. Oh no, it's not here. Little son of a gun. I thought this was going to be here. Let me see something here. Okay, it's there. It didn't work with projects. Oh, I'm so upset. Well, duplicate post does not work with these projects.
All right.
So never mind. With that, I thought we were going to be able to just simply copy this.
Right, and you can go into the copy and edit that essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we actually can do that. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. Let's go back to Kent. Kent is the only, no, there are a bunch of residential ones. What we're going to do here is we're going to save this to the library. And we're going to call this residential project template based on Kent. How about that?
All right.
We're going to save. We're going to go back to projects. Actually, we didn't have to go back to projects. Let's add new. Now, we have an option here to keep using the WordPress builder or use the Divi builder. And I would recommend the Divi builder because we want it to look like the Kent one.
Okay.
So we'll say use Divi builder, and we'll say load from library. And we have some predefined ones that you see as the default here, but we want to add from the library. And here's the residential project template based on Kent. I'm going to go ahead and load that. And there it is. So now this is essentially the Kent one, and we'll see if we hit preview, it's going to be Kent, but it's a brand new project. So we would give it a name, we would come in here, we would edit all this stuff.
Yep.
We would come in here and we would edit the gallery, update the gallery, and change the images to the right images.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and if we don't want to do this right now, well, we can just leave here. And we do not have a draft created.
And now
the draft here.
You can trash that. Okay. Yeah. Now, if I want to change the category, can I change it on this page that you're on right now, or do I have to change it within the project page?
The category for a particular. Do you want to add a category, or you want to change the category of a?
Yeah, let's just say Kent actually is commercial, so I want to change it to commercial instead.
Sure. Well, there are two ways to do it. The longer way is to click on Edit, and I'll just show you the category is going to be over here on the right with the project category.
I see. All right. Yep.
Bouncing around. But actually, if it's a change that is as simple as that, you can actually do that with Quick Edit, and Quick Edit allows you to just change that. So you're not editing the content, but just some of the metadata, let's say.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a pretty easy way. And if you wanted to add additional categories, I don't know if you noticed there, this is very typical in WordPress. You can actually add a new category here while you're working on an individual project, or you could go over to categories themselves and just add a new category here.
All right.
Let's see. Let's add that new project again. And we're going to use that. We're going to use the Divi Builder. We're going to use, I got to show you the visual builder here. We're going to load from the library. We're going to add from library. And I don't know if you noticed this. I meant to focus on this before, this little checkbox. So if it's unchecked, it'll keep the existing content and add this as additional content. Or if you say replace, it'll get rid of everything that's already there. In this case, it's actually nothing. And it'll kind of write over with this information.
All right.
So we can leave that checked now because there really was not any content. So it's a good idea, you know, probably to give a little very short description here. Like let's say it's Kent again, you know, Kent home remodel. And I might even go back in, suggest going back in. You may want to go back in and look at the, you know, the individual projects that are here. Right now, they're just, like this one is descriptive, West Greenwich Town Hall, right? These are place names, but they don't really say what the project is, you know, like what you did for it. So you might want to add a little bit if we're adding a new project, you know, home remodel or, you know, I don't know, landscaping design or whatever the kind of project is about. I might suggest adding that in the name of the project, because that helps the person who comes across this page, and it helps the search engines too. So we're going to close that out. We're going to leave that. There's a whole other way to edit in Divi. And actually, I'm going to pause there for a second. Erica, what have I missed? Anything you can think of that you would have brought up?
No, I think you've been pretty thorough so far.
All right. I'm glad to hear that. So, so this, Dave, is another way. And this, to my mind, takes a little bit more getting used to, but is in some ways more powerful than the other way of editing. Because it's a sort of a what you see is what you get style of doing it. Divi has what's called a visual builder. So if we wanted to edit this page or project, we could click on edit project, and that'll take us to where we were before, the back end of the project, or we can edit it right here, right in front of us by clicking on enable visual builder.
All right.
And now you can see that it's kind of given us this information for the section, for the row, for the module. But we can also just kind of come right in here and you can change that. Allison, that's fine. You can say, click on the image below. Whoops, it would help to spell it correctly, to view the photos. And now, right now, that's not changed on the website, but I would have to come down here, click on this little purple dot or dots, and then click save. And if I click on that, if I click on save, now I'm going to go do it because that's not offensive language by any stretch. So now the site is live with this.
So that's the same as clicking the update button on the back end.
It is.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So, so maybe instead though we say, oh, you know what? It's obvious that the image is below, so we don't need that after all. So I just took the below back out, and I'm going to click save again. And so now it's updated live on the website again.
All right.
So this is a pretty powerful way to edit. But Erica, would you agree it takes some getting used to?
Yeah, I tend to use just the regular builder rather than the visual one.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Every once in a while this is handy. But yeah, I still am not totally like 100% comfortable with Visual Builder. Like there's things I have to be mindful of when I'm doing it. But,
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. There's some things are a little bit easier on the regular edit, and some things are a little easier in the Visual Builder.
Right.
And so I find that I kind of bounce around in between the two. You can get to like a Visual Builder parallel to the regular editor by clicking over here and getting the I can't remember how they phrase it, like the grid view, wireframe view. So this essentially kind of replicates the back end while still staying in the Visual Builder. So we could come in here and click on the gear icon and edit this here. We can make that a little bit bigger. So this is where we were before, right, on the back end with this stuff.
Yeah.
And if we don't want to change anything, we can click on the wireframe to make it go away, and we're back to where we were. So notice that we cannot change in the Visual Builder the header area up here, nor can we change this footer area. That's got to happen elsewhere.
Right.
But it's the content of the page itself that can be changed. And so we can just exit Visual Builder here, and we can do that like on any page. If we wanted to change something in the About page, right, just enable Visual Builder, and it's going to load up. And we can make, if we notice a typo, what have you. So it's really, so we can see here, so this is disabled, and because see how it's grayed out, this bottom one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like I would tend to look like, oh, okay, so what were we doing there? It's sometimes it'll be grayed out here, but it's not grayed out like for mobile, for instance. We might do it a different way. And in fact, it looks like we do it a different way in mobile. And I think that was the issue here. Because the way that this image here appeared, I think we had to do something a little bit different, or else it just wouldn't have looked right. So if I make that more of a mobile view, yeah, I think we ended up dropping it down below instead of being over to the right. Anyway, so yeah, so this anyway, this Visual Builder is pretty powerful, and I find that like for quick text edits, it's like the fastest way to go.
Okay.
You find the page, you enable the Visual Builder, you go in, you make the quick little changes to the text, and you're on your way.
Got it. All right.
What else do you want to go over?
Well, once I'm just writing that down.
Sure.
For quick edits.
I should also I should show you a couple of tricks in case you have trouble. Sometimes when you click on Visual Builder in your browser, if it's being a little bit cantankerous that day, like there's a kind of a Java issue or something, you might just see, and I don't know if you saw there briefly, there were like a little balls rotating, kind of telling you, hold on for a second, we're getting there. Sometimes that will not finish. So you'll say, oh, why isn't that working? So there are some different tricks that you can do with that. One is you can try deleting the cache, which is there's a browser caching plugin on this website. And now it shouldn't be impacting us. That really should not impact the editing of the website, but sometimes to be on the safe side, I will do that. So I'll go ahead and delete cache. Click on that. That's going to take us back to the main dashboard page. Also, in Divi theme options, if we come to Builder, this static CSS file generation, this is set up so as to speed up the website. Sometimes you got to clear that, and that'll help and save changes there. And we haven't experienced those problems right now, but sometimes they do crop up. What I'll also do, whoops, I'm going to open that in a new tab. What I'll also do is just refresh this page. And sometimes that does a trick. So don't think you're crazy if for some reason something seems a little like it didn't quite do what you were expecting. That is, I would imagine you have things like that happen in your line of work. That kind of thing happens in WordPress too sometimes.
Okay. All right. That is now like, so we have 3 main pictures on the homepage there, that gazebo one, the pool one, and then another one there. Is it just as easy to fix that, to either add or change that as we just discussed, or is there a whole other trick to that?
Yep. No, I mean, honestly, it is virtually identical, but let's check it out. But it is not identical because this is not a gallery, it's a slider. But so let's say we're going to edit the page, and yeah, I hear, like, as Erica was saying, in this instance, I would probably come to edit page because it's probably easier to take care of that this way rather than with Visual Builder.
Right.
This particular element, the slider element. So this is a slider, not a gallery, although it operates in a pretty similar way, right? We go to the hamburger menu to get to settings. And then here's where we've got different sliders. So each slider, if we, well, let's take a look at it, right? Each slider has an image, but it has words also. So the website, this slider module is superimposing the words on top of the image. So that's different from a gallery, which is just displaying the images.
Right.
So with this slider, you know, you could add another slide. You could, then what I would tend to do here is probably to get a similar type of look, I would just duplicate one and then edit the duplicate, you know, change the heading here. Then as we come down, it's asking us to put a background image here. And we would change that. So you can see it's a little bit hard to see because of the image itself, but there's a little gear icon here and a little garbage icon. So we could get rid of that one and we could add a new one. And maybe it's that house, for instance, I don't know. Background. And then that's the background there. So this is, right, a brand new one. Who knows what we're going to say there?
Yeah.
But maybe that should, oh, right. I'm sorry. So if we go back here, I did change it to say Kent House, but these words that are here are down here in the, I'm sorry, they're here in the admin label, way down at the bottom. So this is the Kent House slider image. So that would be that one.
Okay.
So let's go back to look at it. We can take a look at it here. And there it is.
All right.
So pretty similar, but a little bit different. But we say, oh wait, we don't want that one. We didn't want that one there. So we'll get rid of that one. So, I mean, I could go through this process, right, of saving and then like save here and then update, or we can just reload because we really didn't make any changes.
All right. Okay. Just quickly, because I'm going to be running up against this soon to get my daughter from school.
Sure.
As far as either adding a user and or changing their status on there, how does that? Because I'm sure Kurt Jr. is going to want to be at least an editor, and
okay.
I probably want to either make him or myself an administrator.
Okay, so let's do this. I'll come here to users.
Yep.
We'll go to all users, and we will change you.
Okay, just edit it. Okay.
To be an admin, and we're going to make that. We're going to save you there. So now, just so you know, every admin is what is considered a super admin. What that means is that as an admin, you can change or delete other admins. So that is what a super administrator is. They have the ability to do anything to other administrators. So any administrator here has the ability to do anything to any other administrator.
All right. But as an editor, I wouldn't have been able to do that just now.
As an editor, you would not. Correct.
All
So
right.
now we could also add, if you want to add, we can add Kurt here
Okay.
right now.
All right.
Should we do it?
Sure. Let's give him.
All right.